Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm super sorry for no uploads for so long.
But she's back with a vengeance.
A lot of you always wonder like how we got together and how we met, so I thought maybe we'll just make like a sit down chatty video about that because it's quite interesting, I think.
I think so. It's a good story, to be fair. It's a good story.
A tale as old as time.
Yeah.
As old as April 2019.
So not long ago, really, in the grand scheme of things. Quite recent.
Okay, so let's go to the very, very beginning of this story, which was in August 2018.
Yes.
So
I was but a child.
Insomnia Gaming Festival, we're looking for volunteers. I was like, well, it's always good to volunteer. It's always really good to have it on your CV. I applied. I didn't really look at anybody that was going because my YouTube knowledge is terrible.
Unless it's ASMR.
Yeah.
Then she has some knowledge.
Yeah. But honestly, like, terrible. So I was like, oh, there's no point in even looking at who's going because I will have no idea who they are or anything like that. I then got accepted to volunteer and I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. Like, this is great. And so then the day came, I went to Birmingham, so it was at the NEC, and it was during bank holiday weekend, so I hopped on the train and went to Birmingham. And then my first day of volunteering at like 10 in the morning or something like that.
It was early, I think.
Yeah. Like, there was loads of different meet and greets. Oh, no, there wasn't. There's meet and greet one and two. Or was it A and B?
A and B.
A and B, okay.
Damn, 2 whole meet and greets. I couldn't keep up.
At the NEC, there was meet and greet A and there was meet and greet B. So I was put on meet and greet A for the whole entire day. So everyone that was on that meet and greet panel, I had to like make sure the queues are going fine and making sure like they were there on time.
She was our handler.
You know, da-da-da-da. And so it was like super, super early. And
I love that like 10 a.m. is super, super early to you. That's so funny.
Honestly, it was too early for me. And I mean, to go for a meet and greet at like 10, that's really early. That's like when the event opens.
It was at the first day as well, right?
Yeah,
first day of the event.
The first day of the event, so it was Friday.
An hour meet and greet was the first meet and greet of the day.
Yeah.
So it was like 10. And I think doors open at 10.
I went to meet and greet A with my friend Jack, who was also volunteering. And we were both there, clueless as ever. And 2 people came up to us, which was Cal and Scott. And Cal was like,
oh, do I get to do my own part?
Yeah.
Amazing. It's like a script. I said something along the lines of, I'm here for my meet and greet. It's CPK, and damn, that's a long name.
That's exactly what you said.
Yeah, does it? Sounds like something I would say, to be fair.
Me and Jack, being the people that we are, were like, oh, okay. Bear in mind, they didn't give us like pictures of anyone that was going. I mean, maybe if we just looked up and looked at a flyer or something, or maybe on the website, we would have known.
Yeah.
But we didn't. So Jack looked at me and was like, do you think they're supposed to be here? Is that really them?
Top-notch volunteers at Insomnia.
And so then I was like, you know what? I'm going to Google it. So I was like, Jack, you just keep speaking to them and I'm just going to go and Google it. So I was there like this, and then I looked at Jack like, and then Jack was something like, perfect, okay, you'll be here.
But like I will say as well, I've been going to like a lot of Insomnias, and like for a lot of the time, like the volunteers like stayed the same. I recognized a few of them from like a few of the other events, but then like you and Jack, I don't think I really knew Jack either. When we got there, we were like, oh, we have no idea who these volunteers are.
And we had no idea who you were.
No,
so I guess we were in the same boat.
Fair game. But I guess so like very naturally, like while we were waiting, like we would just chat, right? Like I was talking, Mich was like where I was sat at the end.
Yeah, so they had like a table which was like in a row.
Oh yeah, let's set the scene.
So it was like Scott and then Yami and then Cal, and then where like I was meant to stand just so happened to be exactly
like at the end of the table.
Yeah, right next to where Cal was.
So like naturally the person I would talk to would be Mich, because she was the one that was stood there. I don't know, we just got on like really well, right?
Yeah.
Like, we just,
so we had like the same sense of humor, and obviously like the meet and greet was really long, and it was like a couple hours.
Yeah, a couple
like
hours
it was,
long.
you know, and it was super busy, and yeah, we just were like laughing together and just like talking.
Because the way the meet and greets work is like most kids that come want to meet all 3 of us, and because I'm at the end, they'll get to me last. So usually I have like a minute or two's downtime between each person. That's why it's not like I realized how bad it sounded. I'm not saying ignoring people. It was at the end,
Yeah.
so I would just get, as I always had like little breaks in between. I just don't think I was like neglecting people in this situation. Also, I kept saying like, oh yeah, so Mich, I didn't know her name. Like we got on really well, and then it was the next day before I saw like you again, I think.
Yeah, because like Insomnia have pub quiz, and like we were all just like talking, so just saying like, oh, like, are you going to pub quiz, like da da da, and I was like, yeah, like it sounds like fun, because I'd never gone to one, but all the volunteers were like, it's so good, it's a lot of fun. I mean, we just didn't even see each other there.
No, and then that was actually, it was the same event. I think it was the next day. So the next day it was a lot of the same. Like we didn't see each other for like the whole day, and then we had a meet and greet. Like we saw each other again, and just like basically picked up conversation again.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it was just a lot of the same. Like we never once like crossed paths like away from the event, or even in the event, like in the green room or anything. So yeah, so then like Saturday at the meet and greet was actually the last time we like would have seen each other, had it not been that I'm an idiot and I bought a bunch of like t-shirts from this brand and I left them all in the green room. So before I left on Sunday morning, I was like, oh, I want to go get my stuff back. So then I went in, grabbed my stuff, and as I came out, it was Mich and
Sophia.
You were talking to Sophia, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw her, and I was like, as I was leaving, I was like, I'm gonna leave now, and then we just said like bye, and then that was it. Like, you know, it went on as she was just nice to chat to. I think it was the same.
Yeah, no, like, literally, that was it. And
I went home, like, yeah. So
and then I went back to meet and greet A, because that's where I was the whole time.
We love meet and greet A, and that obviously that was August 2018.
August, yeah.
So that's last year. So not to get confused, it wasn't August this year.
No.
We had literally zero contact for
because
9 months.
I didn't know like Cal's name. And,
I didn't know her name. We didn't bother with that. It was just like friendly chat. Well, that was it. Like we just sort of left it. It was just like a really nice weekend, and then
that was it.
Went home. Eventually, Mich also went home. She didn't just stay at meet and greet A. She was still there in April when I went back. From April 2018, August. Oh my god! Why did they both begin with A? It's so difficult, man. The months are so hard. I've only had to go through them all 27 times.
8 months goes by, and
it's Insomnia 64. Yeah.
I applied to volunteer again, got accepted, and then the same thing happened. Took the train, went to Birmingham, went to the NEC, and then Friday rolled around, and once again I was at meet and greet A.
We love meet and greet A. Yes, obviously it's been like 8 months. I think something that's very important to mention is obviously in this time, I was now single. So like while I was driving to the event, I remember messaging Scott and I was like, I wonder if the girl from last year will be there again. But then obviously there was like quite a few new volunteers at the last one. And I thought, well, the way they seem to change so many, maybe it's just going to be like different people every time now. I just arrived at the event, and I'm super weird with events. I like to go like really early the first day, because I just want to get my pass and like have a look around the event, because once the events are open, like they don't like people too much to be like wandering around in case we like cause an accidental meetup and then it causes like a security hazard or something. Like sometimes they'll let us in before it's open just to have like a look around the event, you know, because I still like to look like go to the events for that reason as well. So I went and grabbed my pass, and then I was literally wandering around the event.
This was at like 9
a.m. Yeah, I was like walking up and down, just getting a look around, and I looked over to like the meet and greet bit because I wanted to know where they were as well, because I knew I had mine at one place and then people had theirs at another. And I saw Mich stood there, and I was just like, and she didn't see me, and I was also thinking in my head, she doesn't remember me at all. Like, why would someone remember someone like for that long?
Yeah, I literally didn't see him. Like, I had no idea that he was even walking around.
She just didn't like look at or anything, so I was just like, okay, well, I don't want to go up in case she doesn't remember me, and that'd just be super awkward. So I sort of just walked around the event again, and then came back in a way that I would be like facing her head on. And then as I walked towards her, she looked up, and like it was pretty obvious, like I think we remembered each other.
Yeah. And
then like I just went up and like gave her a hug, like, asked how she was, and then like within the first couple of minutes I was like, oh, you actually said something. She had her little earpiece in, and someone was like saying her name or something. She was like, they're always like Michigo, and I was like, oh, so like that's how I knew her name, because I just completely forgot to ask. The whole last event. So we sort of chatted for like 25 minutes.
So we were just like
minutes.
Talking, and like he was like, oh, Michigo, and I was like, yeah, but Mich is just so much easier. Like everyone just calls me Mich.
Yeah, and then got a quick like backstory of where the name came from.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I feel like every time I explain my first name, I always have to explain my middle name and then my last name. So I gave him all 3 names, and then we were just talking, and then Scott, Jack, and Becky came.
Yeah, that was what
and
it was.
And then you left to get food with them, or
because it was like pretty early. I think we had
that.
A meet and greet at like 12, and it was like 10 or 10:30 or something, and we were like, we should probably eat and grab a drink before we have our actual meet and greet.
And so then they went, and I was still at meet and greet A. In like an hour, I checked my phone, and then I saw that CPK had followed me. And I was thinking, I was like...
On Instagram, by the way.
Yeah. So I was thinking, like, oh my God, like, what incredible detective work. Like, how on earth could he find me? And then I remember I spoke to Cal about this. I was like, how did you find me so quickly? Like, I don't understand.
I looked on Instagram for her name. There was one. That's it. One. And I even checked again more recently.
Yeah, just to prove
and
that,
I was
like, there
look,
was only one.
Because I think I remember I said there was a couple.
Yeah.
And, like, I just would look at which one was
Yeah, and,
Mich.
like, my, Instagram isn't private or anything, so you could see, like, all my pictures and stuff.
So, like, I remember looking, and there was literally just, like, one Mich Rimmer. That was it. So I was like, this must be her. So I remember, like, I followed her. I don't think we even did. I didn't, like, interact with you for a few hours,
No.
right? Because I was still at the event, and so were you.
Yeah, and then I met you at your meet and greet.
Yeah, so then I was at the meet and greet and we were talking, and then it was pretty much a similar conversation to last year. I was like, oh, so, like, are you going to pub quiz? And it was like, oh,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'll probably be there.
In August 2018, I had a really long-term relationship as well. I had a boyfriend, and that's probably why, like, both of us were just like, oh, it's really
Super
nice,
casual,
like,
yeah.
you know, just
nice
to
to have
talk to
someone to chat
someone. We just got along really well.
Yeah, I think we sort of spoke about it, and, you know, it's probably like, what, playful flirting maybe, without
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
meaning to. I don't know. And, like, yeah, we were just chatting. I was like, okay, so, like, after my meet and greet was done, I was like, oh, so, like, I'll see you at pub quiz. She was like, yeah, sure. So then, as I left, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the hotel. And then I remember I messaged Mich. I knew that at the end of the day, she had Will and E's meet and greet.
Yeah, so that was like 3 hours long, I think.
Yeah, and so I just, like, messaged, like, super casually, you know, because, like, I'm a super casual guy. I knew she had Will's meet and greet, and, like, as it was at this event, I think it was like Will, I'm Alex, and Pyro Cynical were, like, the big, like, headline YouTubers there.
Yeah.
So their meet and greets were, like,
It was
huge
huge,
and, like,
like, it
really,
was
really
really
long. So I knew it would be, like, the most stressful one of the day. So I just messaged her at, like, probably, like, right before it started, maybe.
Yeah.
Like 3 or 4 o'clock, maybe.
Yeah.
And just said something like, "Good luck with Will's meet and greet. Hope it's not too stressful.
Yeah,
I'll
but
see
then-
you at pub quiz." Or
Yeah,
something.
and then obviously I didn't see it until I was getting ready for pub quiz, and then we just started talking, and that was it.
Yeah, and then, like you
Yeah.
said, we went to pub quiz and, like, just hung out for, like, the whole night. And...
Like, at first, I didn't see Cal when I came into pub quiz.
No, yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know where
no,
you were.
So let's break down the politics of pub quiz for you. So there's, like, what, like 250 tables?
yeah.
And each table holds supposedly 10 people, but some people have, like, 20 people
Yeah.
around a table. The way it works is, like, all around the outside is, like, general tickets. So, like, people who have bought tickets to go. And then usually there's, like, a big gap right through the middle of them all, so you can, like, have a walkway
Yeah.
if you need to cross, because that's usually where the bathrooms are.
Yeah.
Right in front of that walkway, the first 2 rows are usually, like, VIP tables, or, like, people who have a booth at the event, like Razor will be there.
Yeah.
And it just so happens this time, like, the row behind where the gap was, so there's, like, my table here, the gap, and then a table behind.
Yeah.
By some, like, chance,
By
Mitch's
chance.
table was behind our table.
Like, me and all my friends were on that table. I remember walking to pub quiz, and I was, like, finding what number it was, because, like, they're all, like, numbered
Yeah.
tables. And I was just looking for it and, like, to find my friends, and then I sat down, and I mean, I didn't even look in front to, like, see that you were there.
No, I mean, so the reason
Because
we
it's
even...
all, like, quite dark as well in there, you know? It's like
Yeah.
a club vibe.
I would say the only reason I even looked back and noticed you were there is because where Mich was sat, we had to walk past to go to where the bar was.
Yeah, true.
So
like,
we literally
behind.
got up to go
Yeah.
get a drink, and, like, I was like, oh, there's Mich. And, like, I think it went and we spoke pretty briefly. I was
Yeah.
still my super shy, anxious self. In the end, what I started doing was just buying collections of drinks to take to Mitch's table to offer to her and her friends so I could talk to Mich.
Yeah.
Because that seemed like, you know, the super cool move. Like, we sort of sat separately for probably, like, the first couple of hours of the...
Yeah, with the pub quiz, it's like you're in teams. So when you're playing, like, you know, Cal was with, like, his team and I was with mine, and
Yeah.
like, that's how it was. But then it gets to, like, a stage where just no one cares.
It's the pitch around. That's what it is. It's the pitch around. As soon as it gets to the round where it's the pitchers, you get 20 minutes to do it with no, like, people asking you questions. So everyone just, like, throws it off and goes and mingles with
Yeah.
everyone. I'd gone to get a drink and you'd gone to get a drink with someone else.
I went to get a drink with my friend Ben,
Yeah.
and there was, like, different queues at the bar, and then Cal was at one, and then I was, like, at the other. But I didn't know you were there either.
No, it just
like...
sort of, like, happened. Like, I looked up and was like, oh,
Yeah.
and, like, we got chatting and I was like, oh, like, I'll come back to your table. And then we just sat and, like, that was it then. We spent, like, most of the night together, I think. Like, we just hung
Yeah.
out chatting and, you know, had some more drinks. As from there, we sort of spent, like, most of the weekend together.
Yeah, so then, like, we exchanged numbers. Cal had never seen this technique in his life. I mean, to be fair, it's not really a technique, because
yeah.
I'm sure so many people do it. So Cal gave me his phone.
And said, like, put
And,
my
like,
phone number, put your phone number
Yeah,
in
so
it.
he was like, put your phone number in my phone. And so I was like, okay. And so I just did it, and then I clicked call, so that I would get his number.
Yeah.
I just feel like that is the most like common sense way of getting anybody's number, because how would I know that it was Cal texting me or calling me?
Yeah.
I mean, he could have been like, oh, it's Cal or whatever. But I did it, and he was like, whoa, I've never seen anyone do that before.
Yeah.
And I was like,
so because
what?
you see it a lot in movies, and this was all I had to go off, is that if you give like someone your phone and say, I'll put your number in, they'll put their phone number in, and then like that's just it. They give it back to you, and then they have they don't have to talk to you now. Like you have to wait for them to contact you. And in my head, I was just like, she's just gonna give me her number, and then that'll be it. Like after the event, like we'll just go our separate ways. Blah, blah, blah. It was a lot of the same. Like, you know, we'd spend like the day together through the event as and when we could. Like, obviously, Mitch was literally working.
Always on meet and greet A.
Yeah, so I was at the event for the next couple of days, and then I was supposed to go home on the Sunday. But instead, I was like, oh, like if I stayed, could we like go grab some food and stuff? So.
And I was like, that sounds nice.
So like I like made some arrangements and then stayed for the extra day. We like went out and like had some, you know, food and drink, didn't we? And then that was it. Like Monday came around and it was like, I actually do need to go now.
Yeah.
But what I actually did was went home, sorted all the things I needed to sort. It was about a 2-hour drive from Birmingham. So I drove home, sorted everything out that I needed to sort, and then drove back to Birmingham just to like see Mitch again. Because in my head, I was having like a really good weekend, and I thought, well, if this
it was
is
honestly really nice.
I was like, if this is all I'm going to get, I'm going to like make it, I'm going to get all my time's worth. So I went back, drove for 2 hours back there. I got there right as you were finishing. I did that, like got back, and again, we spent like the evening together. But then obviously I had to go home because I had like work to do. So yeah, I went home. And
when he left on Tuesday, like, not gonna lie, it was sad. I think it was sad because, like, you know, we got along really well, and it was like, oh well, I guess that's it, really.
Yeah, it was a case of like, well, this could be the last time we do anything.
That's it, really, because you know, like, I lived in Liverpool, and like
I lived in like, my tiny little town,
you know, and so it was kind of like, and then so Cal texted me saying like, well, Liverpool isn't really that far, like I
with
can come
with a Google Maps picture attached of like a 2-hour drive.
Yeah, and he's like, you know, I could come see you, and I was like, oh, like, no, I don't know. I was like
skeptical about it, like, would he really come?
Yeah, and I was like, like, would he really come? And I was like, well, what if the insomnia weekend was like the best part of it, and we have nothing else in common apart from the event? I think that's what you were scared of too. Yeah,
because like it's all well and good getting on well with someone at the event, but then like outside of the event, like, are we even the same person? Are we compatible? Like, you know,
because like we would spend,
I mean, spoiler alert,
we'd spend time together like at the event, at the meet and greets, and we would spend time like after at the casino, but those were only like small
doses,
like hours throughout the day. It wasn't really like spending like time together.
Yeah.
So obviously if Cal was to come to Liverpool, we'd spend like that whole like 5 days or whatever it was, you know?
We began to talk, like we were talking like pretty much every day. Yeah. And that was where we crafted the idea that we branded as make or break week.
Yes.
And was what, Monday? I think Monday till Wednesday or something.
Yeah.
And it was the Tuesday then or Wednesday then. Between that, I had to go to Smallish Beans stag party because Joel was getting married. We went to Prague for Joel's stag do, and I mean, I think even for most of that trip, like any downtime I had, I would text you. And, like,
by that time I'd finished uni.
You were finishing up.
That I really had to do. That was it. So I had a lot of free time as well, and we were just talking,
just like casually chatted for like the whole time I was away. And then I knew that once I was like done with this, I was going to be coming home, and then I was going straight to Liverpool for make or break week, which is exactly what it says. We knew after a few days of spending, like, I was going to stay where Mitch was living. So if we can put up with each other in that small of a space for like 4 or 5. By the way, it's a student accommodation. So I'm not like ripping where she lived. Jesus.
No, I lived in like a studio, which was like in a student accommodation. It was like the bed, the bathroom, like a desk area, and like the kitchen.
Yeah. So that was it
really. So like if we could cope with each other
in that space for like a few days in a row,
you know, you're gonna soon find out whether you hate someone or not,
or their habits, you know? Or like what they do. That was the plan, was to go over there. And then I made the very fun decision to try and kick a balloon while I was in Prague, and I fell and hit the ground face first, and like got this lovely scar that you can't really see on camera, to be fair. But I split my head open and I needed 6 stitches. And I remember I hadn't really spoke to you much that day, I don't think.
No. Cal was like, oh, okay, we're going for food. And then after that, it was like, oh, we're going on the night out. So I was like, oh, like, great, have fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no one really uses their phone on a night out. So I just assumed that, like, I'd hear from Cal in the morning all about, like, the night out. But I heard from him a lot sooner than I thought I would.
Yeah. I was there getting stitches in my head.
I had no idea. Like,
Mitch
I hadn't heard from Cal in about maybe 3 hours.
3 or 4 hours, yeah. So I just text Mitch saying, can I call you in like 30 minutes? I've got a really funny story that's only going to be funny if I call you. So she was like, yeah, okay.
I was like, fun.
So I let him finish up the stitches. I got it all fixed up and then went back to the apartment. And I just said to everyone like, oh, I'm just going to call Mich, like I'll be back in a bit. Went out onto the balcony and like called and explained what had happened.
Yeah, so he was like, hi, so I split my head open. And I was like, how? And then I was expecting some like, I was in like a Prague street fight, you know,
some like crazy story.
Yeah, like some crazy like stag story.
And I was like, nope.
And he's like, no, I kicked a balloon in the apartment. And I was like,
I fell
that's
over.
so embarrassing. You should have just lied to me.
Yeah.
And then I was asking like how he was and is he okay?
And I think it was like probably 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, just
on
like
the phone.
on the phone.
And I remember I kept winding her up because I was like, what happened to not liking being on the phone? She was like, yeah, you know. I think we're just kind of like, you know, like being playful, I think, with each other. And Mich was telling me not to come anymore. It was the next day I was flying home. I was arriving into Heathrow, and then I was going to drive from Heathrow to Liverpool.
Yeah, and I was like, no way. Like, you've just busted your head open.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get in the car and drive, like, for what was it? Like 4?
It was 4 hours,
Like 4 hours? I was like, come on.
So, just to clarify, I did feel fine. I'm not, like, stupid. I was very aware of my situation.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like, Cal did take a couple of breaks, like, on the way.
Yeah, I stopped at, like, service stations just to, like, sit and, like, grab a drink. A really long drive. And thus began Make or Break Week. Just did, like, really casual stuff. Like, we went for, like, dinner. I met some of, like, Mitch's friends.
Yeah.
But it also happened that it was my birthday.
Well, Cal wasn't meant to stay for his birthday.
No, so I was gonna go. I was gonna go home, but at this point, like, because we'd just been away with the group for like stag do's and stuff, like we hadn't really planned a big friendship group thing for my birthday. So I was like, I was supposed to go home Wednesday, and I think my birthday was a Thursday.
Yeah, because then I said like, oh, like, what are you doing for your birthday? Like, are you not going back home? Like, you're not spending it with your family?
Not really doing anything.
To me, it was quite a big deal that you wanted to.
So and that was it. I basically said like we'd done the Monday to like Wednesday at this point. Like everything had gone super well, you know. As far as I was concerned, like assuming Mich would put up with me, I was like I could definitely be in this situation.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Cal did say he's like if you want me to go, like
at any point.
I will go. You know what I mean? If you've like had enough of me and like that's enough, or this
like, it doesn't have to be like I'm sure it'll be uncomfortable, but like
you can just say
from
the start,
it and we'll just
like,
go and then that's just it. Like we've given it our best shot. But like I don't even think once like we tread on each other's toes or anything. Like
no,
you know, it's pretty clear we were very, very, very similar. Like really fast.
And I mean, from the start, I was kind of skeptical again to, I don't know, get into anything with anyone.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fair to say we hadn't been out of our relationships long.
No,
like too long.
Yeah, and so I was just kind of like, oh, I don't know, and that's why like Make or Break Week like came about.
I'd said to like Mich like I'd love to spend my birthday here, and like Mich had agreed, and then actually like set up with two of her friends, Martin and Michelle, who are now obviously very good friends of mine, and they actually like threw me like a tiny little birthday party, and like
so
Michelle made me a cake,
and
like
she made
bear
lasagna.
in mind, I was that the first time I'd met them.
Yeah, it was the very
so
very first
I hadn't
time.
met them yet, and they made me a cake, and like it was just like so like overwhelmingly nice, like you know like that's crazy. And we had like a really good night. I got on really well with them. Make or Break Week had gone like really well as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And I think it kind of set in when it was like got to a point where I was like, right, well, I like actually have to like go back.
Yeah, because like Cal had obviously pre-filmed all those
5
like,
videos, I think.
But then he had to go back.
And then it was like,
to work.
I think we kind of realized like it kind of sucked being
Yeah.
apart again. So like we were talking a lot, and it was basically a case of then like what I was doing is I would get like 2 or 3 days of work done, and then I would just drive through to Liverpool.
Yeah.
And I would like
And then we'd
stay. Hang out. We'd go and like
go on a night out.
You know,
and, like,
basically
met
do like
a lot of my other friends, and
it was essentially like
you know,
dates. And yeah, that sort of went on a little while, right? Like probably a month, maybe,
month,
of like me
yeah.
driving through. So there was a time where I surprised her. It was her friend Alex's birthday, who is now a friend of mine. I'd been added to the group, but
it was like a birthday meal at like a restaurant.
Yeah.
You know?
So obviously, like some of her friends, I guess, wanted to meet me, and I was like, oh, like bring your boyfriend, like bring the guy you're seeing, whatever.
Yeah.
I actually couldn't go because it was on like a date that I was busy. I think I just didn't have the work done. I'd only been back home for like a day or two or something. I got added to this group and asked if I could go to the birthday meal, and I was like, oh, like I literally just got back. Like I can't.
And
really...
I said to Cal, I was like, oh my god, don't worry at all. Like there's so many other times that like you know you'll be invited to things and we'll go out and meet everyone. It's fine.
Then I put in my plan to motion, and I messaged her friend Adrian and was like, look, tell Alex I will come. Make sure no one tells Mich. And like I was just my plan was just to show up and like surprise Mich there as well. So yeah, I mean it went pretty well. Like I kept
was
like
massively surprised.
I kept like pleading my like, I'm so sorry I couldn't make it.
Yeah,
like,
and I was
please
like,
have a good night.
It's not a big deal. I was like, it's fine. It's a meal. It's fine.
I even text Mich like, oh, at least send me a picture of like what you're wearing so I can see how you look. And so she was like, oh, like here's a picture of her. And then little did she know that at this point I was like stood at the bottom of her student accommodation waiting for her to come out. And like, you know, she came out and there was a big surprise and it was all really nice. And I think it was like from that point there, like I was kind of like, it sucks going home.
And like for me as well, like we just got along so well. And
yeah,
I don't know, like I just loved spending so much time with Cal. And it was just like, I don't know, we'd always get quite upset, even though we knew
we'd
that
see
we'd see each other like
next
week. I don't know, it was just quite sad.
Yeah, and I know there's going to be people who are in like really long distance relationships who are like, get a grip. But like, I don't know how to explain it. It's the same feeling. Obviously, yeah, we have more opportunity to see each other. But like, it means that I would have to do a bunch of work, and then I'd have to free up some time to come
with
through.
Cal's like schedule, it was like super difficult, like for him, and obviously I would never want him to just cram everything in one go and be so like
drained.
Yeah, drained, and you know, not being able to like really focus on everything properly. So
yeah, and
that was why like it was always best to try pace it out as much as we could.
Yeah, and I'd sort of like joked in the like couple of weeks before saying like it would just be easier if I just moved here. I could live anywhere, so I was like, why don't I look for a place in Liverpool? And like we started talking about it a little bit more seriously, I guess, towards like the end of the month. Very important fact, sometime during this time we'd gone to Dubai. We've been like sort of seeing each other for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and then we went to Dubai because it was my sister's birthday. And you know,
I really wanted to go to Dubai for a really long time anyway. And obviously knowing Mich would have a good time going back there, I was like, let's just do it. And she was very adamant we couldn't do it. Like, she didn't want me to like say, let's just go. So I just kept persisting and was like basically nagging her that I wanted to go. We booked it with 10 days notice and then just went to Dubai.
Yeah,
stayed in a hotel.
Had a good time. I
met like
showed Cal around. He met my sister
and Dubai friends and her sister's
really
boyfriend and stuff. So like, you know, it was like a really cool.
And we went out for like a meal on her birthday, and it was really nice. We went out with my friends.
Pop pictures up.
I will.
Pop pictures up on this. We're 40 minutes in and I'm like, oh, put pictures on. She's like, yeah, Cal, I'm going to do that. Yeah. So there's a really funny story about like one of our first pictures ever. We were at pub quiz and we were getting our first picture taken. Like,
so it was on my phone and I asked my friend Sophia like, oh, like take a picture of us because we didn't have any pictures together and, you know, we were just having a really nice time.
Again, this was a time where it was like, well, if anything, it's just like a nice memory.
It's a nice memory, you know, like, oh, this weekend has been fun.
Yeah, and as we were taking the picture, there was a guy who was taking a picture of the stage, but he saw us getting a picture and said, oh, it looks like a really nice moment. Yeah. So he wanted to like capture it himself. So he took a picture and it was really weird that I just so happened to know who he was. And I'd seen him at the event and I'd been wanting to talk to him. And I saw him after he took the picture and I was like, oh, I'm just going to go say hello.
Straight to him.
So I went over and like spoke to him and blah, blah, blah. He was like, oh, I actually just took a picture of you guys. I was like, what? So he showed me it and it was actually like a really nice picture.
It's really nice.
Literally, we were planning on going to Dubai. We'd arranged it all and then it just so happened the way it fell is that I only had one day between going to Dubai and then going to Stockholm for the Minecraft Creator Summit. I arranged a bunch of viewings, like I think it was 4 apartment viewings.
Yeah, there was quite
in
a few.
one day when I was home. So my plan was to literally go to Dubai, come home, stay with Mich for the one day, view all the apartments, sleep there, and then fly to Stockholm the next day. From Manchester, which obviously is pretty close to Liverpool. 3 of the apartments couldn't fit me in and only 1 could. So I came to see this apartment that we're in. So, you know, it worked out all right. The plan was, I think, I was going to be here and Mich was still going to be at her student accommodation because she had it paid up until like...
so you have to pay it all up front. So I paid up September to August.
Yeah, maybe.
Or something like that. Or like beginning of September.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, you know what, I'll just...
And this was happening. This was happening I was moving in June. Yeah. It was early June because after Dubai, and then while I was in Stockholm, I spoke to like the team out there and said like I was going to LA the next month for E3
Xbox briefing
for the Xbox stuff specifically because Xbox are very nice to me. And I just said to them like, would it be cool if I flew Mich out there as well? And they were like, yeah, can't really see why not. There was a few like things that I had to do like on my own. Where Mich would have to either, you know, be in a hotel or just go wandering.
Yeah,
she's
I went wandering.
Yeah, she's a fairly outgoing person anyway. I'm just like, and she'll just like happily walk around and look at stuff. So we had about 2 weeks at home and then we flew to LA.
By this point, we were still just like seeing each other.
This was like 5 weeks in.
Yeah.
Dubai was 3.
Yeah.
And then I went to Stockholm and then LA was the 5th week I think we were seeing each other. Yeah. So it was, you know, pretty quick.
Yeah.
Which we were aware of as well, by the way. Like, you know, I think some people had seen me and Mich were like posting pictures together at this point.
Yeah.
And people were like quizzing me and questioning me about like what's going on,
Yeah.
like blah blah blah.
I mean, we're both so young that like it was a risk that both of us.
Wow, so young. You hear that, guys? So young.
It was like a risk that both of us were just willing to take because it was
Yeah.
just so nice, like spending time with each other.
I got a move-in date of the 14th of June, which was
When
a day
we-
after.
A day after we came back from LA.
Yeah, so I literally went home,
back home,
grabbed all my
filled
stuff,
the car with like all his belongings, and
just moved
moved.
to Liverpool. Then I was just like, well, why don't you just like stay here instead? Like, it's not a big deal. The apartment was already paid. The student accommodation was already paid.
Yeah.
So like her not being there didn't lose or save her money.
Yeah,
It was
so
done.
it wasn't like I was gonna get that money back for the time that I wasn't gonna be there. So
So yeah,
Yeah.
like obviously again, very aware. It was like pretty quick, but what, 2 months in maybe, and we just were like, let's
Yeah.
just move in. Like since then, we've just been living together for
yeah,
what, 4 months?
4 months. Yeah.
Because we've been together for just over 6 months now. I think literally after a couple of months, it was just a case of like we quite clearly like each other. Let's be boyfriend and girlfriend, and here we are.
I hope that answered a few questions. If there are, for some reason, any more questions that we just didn't really answer, yeah, feel free to put them in the comments and I'll go through them and answer them as best as I can. I think that is currently the story of how I met my boyfriend.
I met my boyfriend. I mean, any other updates? I guess we'll
I don't know,
keep you
maybe
updated.
in a year we'll make a new video of what's happened
like
in our year of being
Callum
together.
and Mitch 1 year on. It'll be
Yeah.
like a celebrity special.
Mm.
That's it. So yeah, I guess we'll do 1 year in. I think everything's very good.
Everything is great. Everything is more than what I could have ever expected, to be fair.
Yes.
You know, because boys are gross and...
Yes, we are. Yeah, she's very tolerant because I am quite gross. I think I smell a lot and she tells me I don't smell, and that's something you need. If your woman doesn't tell you you don't smell when you do smell, is she really your woman?
Sometimes lying is okay. If it's a very, very small lie. Thank you for watching, and I will see you when I see you.
That's a great outro, actually. I'll see you when I see you. That's smart. I like
Thank
that.
you.
That's funny.